may be darkest, but your love is greater. You light our way, God, you light our way. When evil is rising, you're rising higher, with power to save, with power to save. You keep hope alive, you keep hope alive, from the beginning to end. Your word never fails. You keep hope alive, because you are alive. Jesus, you are alive. Death and a stronghold, but your life is stronger. Rose from the grave, rose up from the grave. When evil is rising, you're rising higher, with power to save, with power to save. Oh, you keep hope alive, you keep hope alive, from the beginning to end. Your word never fails. You keep hope alive, because you are alive. Jesus, you are alive. There's hope in the morning, hope in the evening, hope because we're living, hope because you're breathing. There's hope in the breaking, and hope in the sorrow, hope for this moment, and hope for tomorrow. There's hope in the morning, hope in the evening. There's hope because we're living. There's hope because you're breathing. There's hope in the breaking. There's hope in the sorrow, hope for this moment, hope for tomorrow. You keep hope alive, you keep hope alive, from the beginning to end. Your word never fails. You keep hope alive, you keep hope alive, from the beginning to end. Your word never fails. You keep hope alive, because you are alive. Jesus, you are alive. Oh yes, you are. You keep hope alive, you keep hope alive, from the beginning to end. Your word never fails. You keep hope alive, because you are alive. Jesus, you are alive.
Keep hope alive.
Moin, liebe Sternschanze.
Moin,
Schön, dass ihr da seid. Ich kann
Sternschanze.
sagen,
It's
moin,
great you are here.
eins.
I can even say
Gemeinde.
Moin,
Schön, dass ihr
dear
da seid.
Dog
Ich habe wieder
one
meinen Adventskalender dabei.
church.
Mein
It's great you're here. I
Kranz
have
oder
my
Adventslinie, je nachdem.
Advent
Und
candles
heute
today,
zünde ich die Kerze Nummer 3 an. Wir haben
and
heute
today
den
I will
Advent.
light
Und das ist,
the third candle
Kerze
because
der
it's the third of
Liebe.
Advent,
Genau,
and it's the
von
candle
Liebe.
of love.
So blöd das klingt, aber dieses Wort Liebe. Warum?
And as
Ja, weil Jesus
silly as
sagt,
it
das
might
ist das
sound,
Gebot, wenn wir einander
why?
lieben, dann erfüllen
Because
wir das
Jesus says it's
Gesetz.
the highest command to love one another, and then we would fulfill
Gerade was
God's
Weihnachtszeit
commandments.
angeht, ist, glaube ich, einander lieben und
especially
füreinander da
during
sein,
Christmas time. I think
ein Schlüssel,
loving one another, to be there for one
durch die
another,
Zeiten zu kommen,
it's
durch die Adventszeit zu
an
kommen,
important key to go through these times,
Also, ich zünde
and
das
even
mal
through the Advent time and Corona time.
die
So I would like
Kerze
to
der Liebe.
light it up for
Und wenn
as a
ihr,
representative for all of
auch
us.
Liebe verspürt
And
für
if
euren Stadtteil, für
you
die
even
Sternschanze, dann
feel
lade ich
love
euch
for
ein,
your city
für den
district,
20.
for
um
Sternschanze,
15
I would like to
bis
invite
17
you for the
vorm Haus
20th of December between 3 and 5 p.m. in front of House 73. We want to do a prayer walk, so take someone that you like or come by yourself and you meet other people there. And then we will go together, 2 persons each, to pray for the people that are living there. So on the 20th of December between 3 and 5 p.m. So be there. And now I want to introduce you to a great video that we recorded. Giselle and Rebecca, they were making cakes. So see you after the video. So this is your first Christmas after your baptism. What are you looking forward the most? I think now, for me, I really celebrate Christmas. It's not just about presents and stuff. So that's more emotional for me now. So are there things for you in the last year? Because things were difficult this year. You got baptized even before you knew the church, really. So are there things that you have in mind for this year? So Corona for me was even something like a blessing. It was not only negative, but because through this I was new in faith, because I found Jesus, or I became a Christian in the beginning of the year, and I had a lot of time. I was working the I wasn't able to work, so I had so much time to spend to listen to messages, to read the word, to pray. So I could even say that Corona was a good kind of thing regarding this, because I really had time. But it's sure, talking about your job, friends, you are not allowed to have contacts. Keeping distance, you are not able to embrace people. Was difficult, yes. But God really gave me this whole me in this way. And I don't even know if I would have found Jesus without this whole situation. And it's such a blessing, such a present too, such a gift to have Jesus. And so you could even say it's a perfect timing, right? Even in this difficult year. It's great to hear that. Yeah, I simply hope that all of us, we could enjoy community and the brightness of community soon. And until then, we will accept the challenges that we are facing. And we just wish you a great Advent time. Ciao. After the whole video, I got a little bit envious, and I got a tea and some cookies. So I just hope that you enjoy the Christmas time in the same way. And I want to tell you something. You are precious, you are gifted, and you belong here. And maybe you know this, those words. That's the motto of the Stadtinsel also, and I have a certain project at the moment. So if you would like to support it, to tell them that they are precious and they are gifted and they belong here. So I was also part of the Stadtinsel time ago, and I knew how amazing this work is, and it really made a difference in the life of those kids. So, and if you also love this project, you can support by donating money at Better Place, and you'll find the link in the info box below the video. So just give for this really amazing and great project. I can just encourage you to do this because it's really good. And you also know Rahel, who's part of this, and Tim, and it's a really good project, so simply support it, be part of it. And then even last week we were on our way as a Santa Claus, and they're meeting the children and just spending a very good time with those children there. So just support us our project. And now we will enter into the worship and the message. Just enjoy your time with God, open your hearts, and I just wish you will have a great time. Have fun.
Breaking through the silence, glory in the highest, hope of all creation is resting in his mother's arms. Sun on the horizon, ringing through the heaven, a long-awaited savior, come to set the captives free. Come to set the captives free. Come set us free. Hope is the name, Emmanuel, the light of the world, who brought through the darkness. Oh, hail the King, Emmanuel, the light of the world, the glory of heaven. We didn't see it coming. Story of redemption started in a manger, ended in an empty grave. Oh no, the hope has a name, Emmanuel, the light of the world, who broke through the darkness. Oh, hail the King, Emmanuel, the light of the world, the glory of heaven. Come if you're broken, come if you're searching, if you need healing, yeah, it's where you'll find it. Lay down your burdens and breathe in forgiveness. And if you need freedom, yeah, here's where you find it. Oh, if you need freedom, yeah, here's where you find it. Oh, if you need freedom, yeah. Oh, bless the name, Emmanuel, the light of the world, who broke through the darkness. Oh, hail the King, Emmanuel, the light of the world, the glory of heaven. Oh, bless the name, Emmanuel, the light of the world, who broke through the darkness. Oh, hail the King, Emmanuel, the light of the world, the glory of heaven.
Moin, moin. Schön, dass du heute dabei bist. Wieder bei
Moin,
unserem
moin.
Gottesdienst.
It's great you tuned in today
Ich bin gerade so schön vor unserem
to
neuen
our
Kamin
service,
im Haus 73.
and I'm in front of
Es
our new
wird
chimney
weihnachtlich,
here
es wird
in
schön,
Haus
es wird
73.
glänzen.
And Christmas is coming, it's great, it's glamorous on the outside and maybe also in your house. So you see some light chains. So Christmas is just a special time. And at the same time, now it's maybe a time that we didn't imagine to be like this. But this time in the moment is more like it lost its glory. So normally around Christmas you have this glory, this shiny things, but when we look out now, our world is in a situation that is really challenging for the whole world, but even for ourselves personally. So the brightness, the glamour fades away. So that's what I want to talk to you about today in all kinds of life areas. And even in the last month, things changed so much, the way we live. So a few weeks ago, I was going out for a walk together with my husband, Emmanuel. So it was like autumn outside, and the leaves are coming. The leaves are red and yellow. And we went to a stud park, and then we were walking on a sidewalk, just talking. It was a nice time that we had together. And I was a little bit exhausted, so we exchanged, chatted a little bit, and then we had some space on the sidewalk, and we were walking there. And then there was this couple coming, was heading toward us, and then first the husband walked beside us, and then the woman. And then all of a sudden the woman said, well, haven't you heard something about keeping your distance? And Emmanuel, he looked at me, we both looked at each other, and we were really shocked and was like, what is going on here? Like, why are you shouting at me like that? And Emmanuel said, hey, you can also keep a distance, right? And I was really angry. It's like, what does she think, who she is like? So I was really out of myself, and I was up for a fight. So normally I'm not like that, who likes to fight a lot, especially not in public. But this moment I thought, hey, what are you thinking? Why do you say something like this to us? And you can even say it in a friendly way. And then I told Emmanuel, yeah, it's great, you told her what you think, it was really good. And I recognized that it's very strange in my heart what is going on. And Emmanuel said, well, actually it was not that good that you told me that. Was not good how I reacted. And I recognized, this time does something to me, and it's able to do something to me and even to my relationship abilities. And maybe we are more easily irritated and annoyed, and we are more easily in a situation or a point where we are kind of exploding. It does something to us. And even the way we do relationships. So this is what I want to talk to you about today, because our life actually changed, and I guess you recognized already. But we have to reduce our contacts. There are far less contacts. And even how we deal with strangers, or the way we keep a distance. We are not even physically close to other people anymore. It's getting less and less. So we are, the way we live our relationship is different. And it does something to us, it does something to our ability to have relationships. And we change, we are in a different mood, because our life changes that we have with people. And now we are in a time where we are thinking, how can we create, or how can we have our relationships, and how can we confront those things, because it's not just going easy in a way. And even our relationships are challenged in some way. And maybe, you don't even have things to tell to other people, because life became more boring. There are not so many things that you could do. And what you could do is maybe go for a walk, but then you don't really experience so many things. Maybe, if a dog jumps at you or something like this, or whatever, or people are shouting at each other on the street, something like that. So our life becomes more monotonous, more boring, and we meet differently because of that, even in our relationships. And I want to look with you at how it looks on our inside in this area of our lives. And I want to ask you, how are you? And how are your relationships? How are you? And how are your relationships? how does it look like in your life areas? Because the brightness and the glamour might have disappeared already there. And maybe someone disappointed you during this time where you thought, this person is close to my life and it's maybe even there for me, but then there was this rule you could only meet with a certain number of people. And then, the person said, well, I don't want to meet with you, I want to meet with someone else. Or maybe you don't really have someone to talk to, you have nothing to say anymore to other people. And then maybe there's this feeling, I believe that every one of us experienced that already, this feeling that brings us into a dark place, a dark spot, a feeling that maybe even makes us afraid, that we do not want to show to other people, a feeling that is no highlight that you would post on Instagram, and it's a feeling of feeling lonely. And this time it even can bring us to a point where we feel lonely, because things change so much. And loneliness is a feeling that describes the gap between what I experience, what I perceive that I have, and what I would like to have as meetings or social contacts. So this gap sometimes is really intense and tough, but we can create it in an aware way. So I want to think together with you about this, about our relationship ability and how we can create our relationships in this time, so that out of loneliness will become a togetherness. So when brightness fades, how can unitedness come back out of loneliness? And this starts with us. Maybe you think, well, the other person has to start and maybe the other person has to come up with something. No, it starts with you. It starts with you looking on your inside and you looking at what is happening inside of you. This meeting that I had with this woman, or what Emmanuel and me had with this woman, it was a meeting where I thought, well, something I recognize, well, something is going on in me. Where is this anger coming from? So what is in me that this anger would come out? Because if I keep being that annoyed and irritated, it even transfers to my close relationships, and maybe even much more than to those who are farther away. So that's why it's so important to look on your inside and to check what is going on the inside of me, because so many things can annoy you or irritate you, but if you do not start to look on your inside, it will not change, because it will stay like that. And you can only be a relatable person. You can be a good friend if you start to get things in order on the inside of you. And it's so good that we can do this on our own. So how does it look like? So I brought a word for you today, how loneliness can turn into togetherness. So loneliness is reflected in so many things that we could do, or the way we behave. So I want to look with you what loneliness can do to us. So when we are lonely, einsam means lonely, we start to become egoistic, self-centered. I'm really dealing with myself, busy with myself. I'm not even focused on the other person, or I start to isolate myself even more because I'm lonely, and because I think, hey, it doesn't really make sense to go to other people because I'm simply frustrated.
alles ist schlecht,
or I
alles,
start to
macht
think
keinen Sinn,
negatively.
egal was ich
Everything is
anpacke, egal welche
bad.
Beziehung,
Everything doesn't make any
ich versuche
sense, no
irgendwie
matter what I
anzugehen,
start
das
with.
funktioniert nicht.
Even the
Wir
relationships
können in unserer
that I'm
Einsamkeit,
trying
oder
to
wenn wir
start,
einsam
it won't
werden
work.
und beziehungsunfähiger,
And even in
dann
our
können wir auch
loneliness, we
selbstmitleidig
can become
sein.
less
Ja,
able to be in good
Selbstmitleid ist wie so eine
relationships.
Spirale, die sich immer
And we
weiter
can
dreht und die immer weiter
get
nach
to
unten geht,
self-pity. It's like a
wo wir
negative
dann selber nicht
spiral
mehr rauskommen.
that would
Und dann fangen
take you
wir an,
down,
einfach nur noch
and then where we
zu denken,
even
oh,
won't
was ist
be
mit
able
mir
to
und wie geht's
enter or to
mir
get
und
out of it.
das hat
So we
der
think,
nicht für
well,
mich
how's it
gemacht
going
oder
on
was
with
auch immer.
me? So
Wir
someone
werden an
else
uns
didn't do
selbst zu einem
something for
Mitleid.
me, something like that.
Und der eine oder
So we
andere
start to
wird vielleicht
self-pity
auch, vielleicht fühlst du
ourselves,
dich auch so,
and then the
apathisch.
one other person,
Dir ist alles,
maybe you even
auf
feel
gut
like
Deutsch
this.
gesagt,
You
scheißegal.
become
Es ist scheißegal,
apathic.
was mich herum
You
passiert.
just don't care about
Ich
things
ignoriere das
anymore.
einfach und
You don't care about the things that
ja,
are going on
es interessiert
around
mich
you.
einfach nicht.
You just
Und ich
ignore
gebe
it.
sozusagen auch auf, mein
You're
Leben
just
zu
simply not
gestalten.
interested.
Und genauso
And
kann
you
sich das
even
bei
give up on
Mutlosigkeit
creating your
anfühlen. Ich bin
life.
mutlos,
And just the same
und
way,
habe
it's
keinen Mut
about
mehr,
courageousness.
da
It's like when you
mich mit
lose your
auseinanderzusetzen oder
courage
auch für mein
and you stop
eigenes Leben
to
das zu
think
gestalten.
about it or confront those
Und ich habe
certain
vorhin
things
gesagt,
and to
nur
create
jemand,
your own
der
life.
aufgeräumt ist,
And I
kann
just
auch
said only someone
beziehungsfähig ein
who
Stück weit
is kind of
sein.
sorted
Und,
inside is able to
jemand, der
have
sich
good
mit sich
relationships.
selber auseinandersetzt, der wird beziehungsfähiger. Und
And
die
someone
Bibel
who is
beschreibt
dealing
das,
with himself or
dass
herself
etwas
becomes
Leben aus uns
more able
herauskommt,
to be in
aber
good
wir auf
relationships.
etwas Essentielles
And
aufpassen
the
sollen.
Bible
Und
describes
zwar ist das,
life
steht
coming
das in
out of
Sprüche 4,
us
Vers
because we have to
23. Da
watch
steht,
something very
mehr als alles
important.
andere
We find it in
bewahre
Proverbs
dein Herz, denn von
4:23.
ihm geht das Leben
Keep
aus.
your heart with
Und
all
das Leben
vigilance,
kommt aus
for
unserem
from it
Herz, es entspringt aus
flow
unserem
the
Herz.
springs of
Aber
life.
wenn wir also Sachen
So life
anfangen,
comes of our
sich
heart.
aufzubauen, wie, ja, dass ich
But when
egoistisch bin,
when
dass ich
things start to
negativ werde,
build
dass ich
up, that
selbstmitleidig
I'm
werde,
egoistic, I'm
dann
negative,
werde ich zu
I
einer
am
Person,
self-pity,
die nicht so viel Leben aus sich
I become a
herausströmt,
person
sondern eher
that does not
ja, Dinge,
has so much life coming out of him or her.
fördern, sondern sie wegnehmen oder sogar
So things
zerstören.
that are not
Und
promoting
deshalb,
the ability to have
ist es so
relationships,
wichtig, nach
but
innen
even
zu
destroy
schauen
them.
und das bewusst
So that's why it's so important to
anzugehen
look
und
on our
sagen,
inside
okay, was ist eigentlich in mir und
and
was
to confront
mache
it
ich
in
damit?
an aware way.
Und
So
das
to confront, to say
Wichtige
what
daran
is
ist, dass
even
du nur
inside
selber
of me, what I'm
das
doing
gestalten
with it.
kannst.
And the important
Also
thing about
nicht
it is
ich
that
kann
only
kommen
you
und dich
can
daraus
create it.
befreien, sondern du musst bewusst
Not
sagen, okay,
me.
ich möchte das machen,
It's not me
ich möchte
who
das angehen.
I,
Und dieses
I
Tor
cannot
ist wie
help you
eine
out.
Tür,
You yourself
die
have to
nur
say,
von
well, I
innen
want to get
aufgeht
out.
und die
Because
nur
it's like
du selber
a
öffnen
door
kannst.
that can only
Nicht
be
jemand
opened
anders
from the
für dich.
inside.
Es ist wie ein
It's a door
Gefängnis,
that
das
only you
nur
can open.
von
It's
innen
not
geöffnet
someone
werden
else that
kann, was
would
sich
do it.
Einsamkeit
It's like a
und auch
prison that you can only open from the inside.
Beziehungsfähigkeit nennt.
So
Und
loneliness and
deshalb ist es
ability
so
to have
wichtig,
relationships.
dass du das angehst und nach innen schaust
So
und sagst,
that
ey, was
means
ist
it's
da
so
eigentlich in
important
mir?
that you
Warum
confront
bin ich
it
so
and you look on
genervt?
your inside
Warum
and you
bin
think,
ich
what is even
genervt?
on the inside of
Und
me? Why I'm so
hat das
stressed?
mit
Why I'm so irritated
was ist
and
da in meinem
annoyed?
Herzen passiert, dass da dieses Leben
And so
verloren
what is
geht,
in my heart happened in my
Dinge
heart
hineinkommen, die mir nicht gut tun,
that
die
I
kein Leben bringen.
would lose life and
Und
things are coming into it that
ja,
are not
woher
good for
kommt
me
eigentlich
and
unsere
would not bring life.
Beziehungsfähigkeit? Woher kommt das, dass wir
So where is
beziehungsfähig
the ability
sind
to have relationships
und
coming
auch
from?
weiter werden? Und ja,
And,
Gott
and how can we
in
become
sich
more
ist
able
Beziehung. Vater,
to
Sohn
have
und
good
Heiliger
relationships?
Geist. Er war
And
von
God
Anfang
in
an da und
Himself
diese
is
Beziehung
relationship,
zwischen
Father, Son, and
Heiliger
Holy
Geist
Spirit.
ist so intensiv,
He was there
so
right from the
tief
beginning, and this relationship between
und
those
etwas,
three is so
was
intense and
für
so
uns
deep,
Menschen ein Vorbild sein kann. Und Gott hat uns
and it's
geschaffen,
something
genau
that can
zu
be a
dieser
model for us as
Beziehungsfähigkeit. Und er
humans.
möchte,
God
dass
created
wir
us
beziehungsfähig sind.
even for this ability to have good relationships,
Er kann
and He
das
wants
in
us to
uns
be
bewirken.
able to
Er
have good
kann das in uns
relationships.
gestalten. Und dann, wenn wir nach
And
innen
only
schauen,
He can
müssen
does
wir
it, and He
nicht
can
nur,
cause it in
ja,
us. And when we look on the inside,
sondern anfangen, das mit Gott durchzugehen.
it's not only looking on ourselves,
Weil
but to
uns
start
geschaffen
to go
und hat
through
uns
it
auch für
with
Beziehungen
God,
geschaffen.
because He created
Und es
us,
gibt eine
and He even
Begebenheit
created
in der
us for
Bibel, wo
relationships.
Jesus jemandem begegnet, der
And there
ganz
is
schön lange allein
an
war.
event in the
Er
Bible
war
where Jesus
38 Jahre lang alleine,
meets someone
so wie man das
who
aus der
has been
Bibeltext
alone for a very
nehmen
long
kann,
time. He's been on
lesen
it by
kann. Und ich
himself
möchte
for
mit euch da hineingehen
38 years,
und
as it is stated in the
schauen,
Bible
was
text.
wir daraus
And I want to go
uns nehmen können. Und
to
zwar
that
steht
with
das in
you and
Johannes 5,
yeah,
Vers 5 bis
check
8.
what we could
Und
take
dort
from it.
steht, es
You will
war
find it
aber
in
ein Mann
John
dort,
5,
der
5 to 8.
38 Jahre mit
It
seiner
says, one man was
Krankheit
there
behaftet
who
war.
had been an
Jesus
invalid for
sah ihn
38
dort liegen.
years.
Er erkannte,
When
dass der
Jesus saw him
Mann schon
lying
lange
there
unter seiner
and
Krankheit litt
knew
und
that
fragte
he had
ihn,
already been there a
willst
long
du gesund
time,
werden?
he said to
Der
him,
Kranke
do you
antwortete,
want
Herr,
to be
ich
healed?
habe keinen, der mir in den
The
Teich
sick man
hilft,
answered him,
wenn das
Sir,
Wasser
I have
sich bewegt.
no one to put
Wenn
me
ich es
into the
alleine
pool
versuche,
when the water is
ist
stirred
immer
up.
schon jemand
And
vor
while
mir
I
da.
am going, another steps down before me.
Jesus ist zu diesem Mann gekommen und er sah ihn, er hat ihn wahrgenommen. Er war
So Jesus
38
got
Jahre
to this
lag an
man,
dieser
he saw
Stelle,
him,
in diesen Teich zu
he
gehen
paid
und
attention
gesund
to
zu werden.
him. So he
Da
was
sind
there
ganz
for
viele Menschen
38 years
hingegangen.
to go to this pool.
Wenn sie dort
So many people
hineingegangen
got
sind,
healed,
Krankheiten
many people
hatten,
went
sind sie
there,
gesund geworden.
and when they went
Und
into
er
this
spricht
pool, when they
diesen
had
Mann an und sagt,
sicknesses,
hey,
they
willst
got
du gesund
healed.
werden?
So he
Und er
talks to this
sieht vor allem
person, to this
erstmal seine
man, and he
Einsamkeit,
asks
dass er
him,
alleine
do you want to
ist.
become, do you want to
Und
get
genau
healed?
deshalb
So in the first
ist
place, he
Jesus
sees his
Christus auf diese Erde
loneliness.
gekommen. Er ist gekommen,
And this is exactly
uns
why Jesus
wiederherzustellen.
Christ came on this earth. He came
uns seelisch,
to restore us. He
aber
came
auch vor allem in unseren Beziehungen
to restore us in a
wiederherzustellen.
physical and mental
Und er ist
way, and
gekommen,
even in our
damit
relationship
in erster
life.
Linie unsere Beziehung
And
zu
he
Gott
came.
wiederhergestellt ist. Weil wir
So
waren
in the first
einfach
way,
ganz
our
weg
relationship
von
with
Gott,
God
wir
would
waren
be
getrennt von
restored
Gott durch Sünde,
in the first
dadurch,
place.
dass wir
So because we
ja
were
nicht
far away
mit
from
Gott
God,
leben
we were
wollten von
separated
Anfang
because
an,
of sin.
sondern der Mensch sich entschieden
Because we
hat,
didn't want
nicht
to
mit
live
Gott
with God
zusammenzuleben und
right from the
unabhängig
beginning,
von ihm zu sein.
but because man decided not to live together with
Jesus
God
kam und
and to
ging
be
an dieses
independent from
Kreuz
Him.
und
So Jesus
starb für
came
dich und
and
für
He went to
mich,
this cross
damit wir
and He
wieder zu
died
Gott
for you
kommen
and for
können
me.
und diese Beziehung zu
So
Gott
we could
wiederhergestellt
come
ist,
back
wenn wir
to
sagen,
God
ey, ich möchte mit Jesus
and
leben.
to that this relationship with God would be
Und genau
restored,
das
and you could say, well, I want to
passiert
live
auch in unserer
with
Beziehung
God.
mit Jesus, wenn wir
So
uns
this is
auf ihn
exactly what
einlassen,
happens
wenn wir mit
in
ihm
our relationship with
gemeinsam
Jesus
unser
when
Leben
we
gestalten, wenn wir
get
diese
close to
Beziehung
Him,
zu
when
ihm
we
leben,
create our life
tagtäglich,
with Him,
dann passiert etwas
and we
in
live
uns.
out this
Dann
relationship with
passiert
Him
nämlich
on a daily
Wiederherstellung.
basis.
Und
Something
diese
happens
Beziehung
with
von
us
ihr ausgehend,
because
dass
then
ich wiederhergestellt
restoration
werde in meinem
happens.
Inneren,
So
in
restoration
meinem
starting
Herzen,
from myself,
dadurch
from my
passiert,
inward life, in
dass
my
ich auch
heart.
beziehungsfähig werde.
It
Weil
happens.
sonst, was unsere Natur ist,
And
was dann
what is the
auch
result
oft
is
wieder
that
hochkommt,
relationships are
auch wenn wir
restored.
uns
Because
entschieden
normally
haben,
our
Jesus zu
nature
leben,
would be
ist
like,
Egoismus, ist
that
Isoliertheit,
would
ist,
come
dass
out
wir
is
negativ werden,
egoism,
dass wir
is self-centeredness,
selbstmitleidig
is
werden.
being
All
isolated,
das
we
kann
become
immer wieder
negative
hochkommen.
or
Und auch gerade in
self-pity.
dieser Zeit
So
kommt
all
das
of
vielleicht
this
hoch,
can
weil wir ganz schön
can be
herausgefordert sind.
revealed again from
Aber
out of
Jesus
us
ruft uns
because we're very
zu sich
challenged
und
now.
sagt, hey, komm zu mir.
But
Ich
Jesus
sehe
calls
deine
us
Einsamkeit.
to
Ich
Himself
sehe,
and He
dass
says,
du
come to
alleine
me.
bist.
I
Ich
see your
sehe,
loneliness. I
was in
see
deinem Herzen
that you are
passiert. Und
alone.
möchtest du mich da reinlassen?
What is happening in
Und
your
es
heart.
ist so, dass wir
So
immer wieder
would you let
sagen
me in?
dürfen und sollen, ey Jesus, ich brauche
So it's
dich.
like
Ich
we
brauche
always
dich
have to
da
say it
drin.
again and
Jesus,
again.
ich brauche
Hey
dich,
Jesus, I need
damit
you.
ich
Jesus, I need
beziehungsfähig
you
werde,
inside.
indem
Jesus,
ich
I need
einfach
you.
lerne, mit dir
So I would
Beziehung zu leben.
I would
Weil dadurch
become,
ziehen wir ganz viel auch
able
für
to be in
unsere
good relationships.
zwischenmenschlichen Beziehungen. Und Gott ist wirklich perfekt
So because this is what we
darin,
try a lot of
Er
for our
liebt uns
personal relationships
bedingungslos und
from.
er schaut nicht auf unsere
Jesus is really
Fehler und sagt,
perfect
boah,
in
Alter,
that. He
ey, du
really
bist
loves
schon wieder
us
voll,
unconditionally.
du bist schon
He doesn't
wieder
look on our
voll da
mistakes.
ins
It's like,
Fettnäpfchen
hey,
getreten
what's going on,
und
Ruth?
hättest
You
mal gar
know,
nicht erst
didn't you
solche
see what
Gedanken
you
über diese Frau
did?
haben sollen oder sie so Krawall
No,
machen wollen.
what did you
Nein,
do?
Jesus
Why
schaut
did you have
mich
those thoughts
und
about this
dich auch
woman? Why
an
would you
und er sieht
come up
das, was in
with a
unserem
fight?
Herzen ist. Er
No, no,
sieht
no.
den
Jesus
Schmerz, er sieht
he looks on
all
us. He
das, was
sees
nicht
what is in our heart. He
beziehungsfähig
sees the
oder
pain
geworden ist, auch über die letzten Monate.
and everything that is not
Und er
able
möchte
to
mit
be
dir und mit
relatable.
mir daran. Und er sagt, komm zu zu mir damit. Es ist vielleicht
So he wants
schmerzhaft.
to attack it. He wants to confront it together with us. Maybe it's painful, but his view is full of love for you. His view on you and us is full of restoration. It's full of a new chance. So I want to encourage you, because exactly from this is the way how from this loneliness, togetherness can develop. So I'm not only looking at myself and my inside and I'm staying alone with this, but really saying, Jesus, I need you in this. Jesus, I can't make it. I know it's really challenging. It doesn't feel good. It's even painful and not comfortable that I'm really confronting this thing, or even myself. But I know I can't do it on my own. But you are there and you are able to help me to overcome it. Maybe the egoism, self-centeredness that open up on the inside of me, where I'm only focused on myself, or I had expectations on other people, or maybe losing courage, or all the negative feelings that you develop through the next month, or the last month. So Jesus wants to enter there. And it says in one passage in the Bible, in Ephesians 4:23, that can happen again and again in our life. It says, renewed in the spirit of your minds. And we can know we are dependent on God and on Him and on what He's doing. So this is how out of einsam, of loneliness, gemeinsam, togetherness can develop. It's because God is renewing me. And through this, out of einsam, of loneliness, gemeinsam, togetherness can grow. And all of those things can disappear and they can be renewed, and God's life can get into this, and we become more relatable through God's help, through Him working in you and in me. We become renewed. So God wants to do this. He wants to renew you and me, so we become relatable. And I don't know what the point is for you, for me, where you recognize, hey, Jesus is talking to me here, that I can come out of this loneliness or this lack of ability to be in good relationships. Hey, I want to encourage you to look on the inside and to confront those things and to confront God. Maybe even if it's painful or difficult, Jesus knew this loneliness in his most painful and hard moments in his life, when he knew, well, I have to confront the cross. Even his closest friends, they left him alone. He was by himself and he prayed, hey, can't you watch with me? But then the disciples simply fell asleep. And when he was at the court, or when they tried to when he had to confront the court, his friends even went away, and they were even denying Jesus. So Jesus knows this feeling. He knows what this feeling that can be in you and in me. And just the things that could even be built up in our hearts and our lives. But He wants to renew you and me. He wants to make us relatable. And I wish for you and for me that God can renew us and we become more relatable, and our relationships can be created in a new way. So I simply want to pray for this, that you could step out of this prison of loneliness together with God. You don't stay alone, but you experience a whole new flow in your relationships, a whole new dynamic, a whole new beginning. So this is what I want to bless you with. Father, I thank you that you see every single one of us, and you know every single one of us, every single heart. And thank you that we are able to say, I need you, Jesus. I need you. And everyone who sits in front of the screen, we need you. And we simply come to you and we say, renew us. Where things entered into our hearts, where things build up, where self-centeredness is, or we lost courage, where we were disappointed. Just let us look at this together with you, and let us learn to work through this together with you, to be renewed through you and through me. Thank you that you are on our side. Thank you that you want to help us to become more relatable. So I want to bless every single one of us, and I bless you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. So it's great that you tuned in today. I hope you got new courage to create relationships. So be blessed. See you soon. Ciao.
And breathe in forgiveness. And if you need freedom, yeah, here's where you find it. Oh, if you need freedom, yeah, here's where you find it. Oh, if you need freedom, yeah. Oh, fascinating, Emmanuel, the light of the world, who brought through the darkness. Oh, hail the King, Emmanuel, the light of the world, the glory of heaven. Oh, fascinating, Emmanuel, the light of the world, who brought through the darkness. Oh, hail the King, Emmanuel, the light of the world, the
Ja, wir sind schon wieder am Ende unseres Gottesdienstes
So we are already at the end of our service. It's great that you tuned in. I hope you enjoyed this time. And maybe you're new in our church or new in our online service and you don't know anyone yet and you want to change it. I want to invite you to go on our website, to go to elimsternschanze.de, and you'll find a button that says new here, neu here, and then you will find a form that you could fill in to get in touch with us. And you could even join one of our crews, our home or live crews, and then just use this link and use this form to get in touch with us. Yeah. If you would like to have community with us, I would be really happy. Would be really happy about it. And we also want to remind you of the challenge that we have at the moment to spend 30 minutes with God. I just want to encourage you to do that. It's a long time, but it can be very intense and very good. So become part of this challenge to spend 30 minutes with Jesus, to shut everything off and just spend time with Him. So maybe that's something for you. So tune in. So I just have to take a short look at my notes. Oh yeah, and there's another thing that is going on at the moment, which is the morning prayer at 6:45. It's going to be a small input, inspiring word for the day. So it's 6:45 on Instagram. You can even watch it later on. So tune in. It's just a great beginning of the day. Be part of it. So that's the news from me. I just wish you a great time and a great week. God blessing. Ciao.